Here is the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Leaders from several European countries met with Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, to coordinate increased economic pressure on Russia and reaffirm support for Ukraine. A 20-point peace plan is being finalized, though disputes over territory remain a major sticking points from both the sides. Volodymyr Zelensky said he will not sacrifice his motherland's territory, and Vladimir Putin says without the occupation of this land he has occupied, he will not be agreed in ceasefire. Situation is volatile, tensions is growing. Let us see what's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SATV's International Affairs. My name is Rashid Kanchon. I will be your host. I have a very distinguished, experienced gentleman, Brigadier General Shafat Ahmed. He is very good at conflict, war, negotiation and international affairs. Sir, welcome to the studio. And from Washington DC, we will have SATV's geopolitical correspondent based in Washington, Norman Floyd Barnes. Let me begin from Norman. Norman, before the show, you are talking about the weather in Washington. It's very cold, snow is falling, but the political and international affairs issues are going very high. What you have in your basket to open the show today?
Greetings, good morning from a very cold this morning. It's actually so cold that the snow can't fall. I mean, it's freezing cold that any precipitation is in the atmosphere, it stays there and it's not coming to the ground. So welcome to winter Washington, D.C. and the United States. Let me start out this morning by stating that a federal judge has ruled, actually knocked down one of Trump's administration first executive orders, stating that he wanted to pause, stop, and reduce energy projects, renewable energy, wind, solar, whatever. The judge ruled that that executive order was illegal, basically unethical, and its timing is off, and it doesn't help the United States at all. So that is one thing that is happening so far. But on the other end, the president just approved a farmers' aid package, which is giving $12 billion to a one-time bridge gap payment to the farmers who've been affected by the tariffs war. So the next thing on that is basically the court is also ruling at the same time they knocked it down. The Supreme Court is ruling on the presidential powers. Supreme Court is poised to rule in favor of President Trump's and his administration ability to strike down and fire and get rid of people, independent agencies. So basically, the powers of the president appears to be enhancing, giving him the authority to terminate people that he do not feel fit in federal agencies, regardless of their employment status. So these are some of the things that's going on. We're talking about the issue with Ukraine. Ukraine has not agreed to the terms. The issue revolves around the territory concession. The president of Ukraine is not willing to concede that, so the standoffs continues.
Yes, sir. You rightly said the U.S. President Donald Trump announced a $12 billion aid package for American farmers aimed to cushioning the economic effects of his tariff policies, which is facing by the U.S. farmers. I just want to know, sir, from you, what are the potential long-term economic impacts of the $12 billion aid package for American farmers? Will it alleviate domestic pressures or create further distortions?
Unfortunately, $12 billion is a lot of money, but it's only a temporary stopgap. Uh, the issue is still going to continue. That's basically a helping hand. But the issue is as long as we have this tariffs and the relationships we have with other countries, the farmers here are going to suffer. This is just an acknowledgement that you are suffering, and it's not to resolve the issue, it's just giving you a helping hand until something can develop or we start getting some returns on the tariffs.
All right, sir. Here in the studio, we have Brigadier General Shafat. I said he is very good at international affairs. Sir, news says over the past weekend, a massive wave of drone and missile strikes by Russia hit multiple Ukrainian regions. Power infrastructure was attacked, including attempts to disable the different nuclear plant, largest in Europe, Zaporizhia. I just want to know from you, sir, given the new Russian drone strike attacks, can current Ukrainian defensive measures, international aid, air defense, realistically protect civilians during this winter? Because I have my personal experience in Kiev many years back during the winter season is terrible.
Thank you very much for inviting me here in SATV. It's a great pleasure talking to you and talking to Norman in Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
But then, as you were saying, it's getting cold in Washington, D.C. So Mr. Trump is keeping them warm by issuing one after another the executive directives which are creating heated what do you call discussion in the US media. But leaving aside that, coming to your question of what is the will it really solve the problem? The question is, you have to look at it this way. Europe is perpetually dependent on Russia for its energy need. How long can they sustain? Russia will not mind if they do not to sell gas or oil to Europe. It has other buyer. But for Europe to sustain during winter, they do need gas. Gas is one of the main source of energy. Now, probably they will say we'll buy from outside. The question is for how long? Because Russian people, if you look at the history, they are accustomed in fighting long wars. And what I feel that Putin is in for a long haul. He is getting prepared that he will continue. He is not going to give up. So he is going to continue the war in Ukraine. And how long European countries can sustain, can support Ukraine, that is a big question.
This is a big question. Of course, I have gone through ChatGPT to ask which country has the most war engagement history. Answer is Russia. So General Shafat is absolutely correct on this history and background of Russia, that they have the custom to fight and to survive with the war. Sir Norman, here is a question for you. What are the risk and moral implications if Ukraine accepts any territorial compromise, especially Donbas? Under international pressure, should sovereignty be sacrificed for peace? Which one is important, peace or sovereignty? Tough question.
Yes, it is a very tough question. The practical answer is that reduce the suffering, concede the land for the suffering, but that's only a temporary fix. It gives you a pause, a relief today, a chance to get your facilities together. But the long-term implication is basically you're losing your sovereignty, you're losing your status as a country, you're losing your pride, you're losing your future. So the concession is really not an option for Ukraine if they want to remain as a country called Ukraine. However, harsh weather, poor conditions, infrastructure has a big bearing on this matter. So Ukraine has a real decision they have to make. Do they continue this push to remain independent, remain a sovereign country, or do we concede to the pressures that Russia's putting on and basically become part of the Russians' uh, empire? So that is a real hard question. A lot of lives have been lost over the last 2.5, almost 3 years, and the people of Ukraine globally has a real question. Do we is this, or do we compromise and become part of the Soviet Union empire? Uh, Very difficult.
All right, one picture has come from your perspective. I just want to get a perspective of a general who has the experience regarding the battlefield, winning, losing, negotiation, and also moving to peace. Sir, does ongoing European political and financial support for Ukraine sufficient for long-term stability, or is a broader international intervention needed? What I mean, you understand, I mean the military intervention may come from NATO or Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Ashad. Now, I have a question, counter question. Have you asked or have anyone tried to find out what do the people of those areas want? Do they want to remain under Russia or under Ukraine?
Russia has a different narrative, but Ukrainian has the different narrative.
The question is, the people who live there, what do they want? Do they want to be part of Russia or do they want to be part of Ukraine? Have we ever
Yes.
tried to find it out?
That is the question.
It's a big question, right?
So we talk of democracy, we talk of self-determination. So if that is the case, let's ask those people, what do they want? Do they want to be part of Russia or want to remain part of Ukraine? One. Secondly, now coming to the question of ceding land for the purpose of peace, again question is, the present day Ukraine, was it the actual Ukraine? Historically, the areas which Russia is asking for, were they part of Russia or were they part of Ukraine? So these are the things which should also be taken into consideration. Now, as far as the military intervention, I do not think that Europeans will intervene physically. USA will not, they will provide all support, but physically I don't think USA will intervene. Because one thing, none of the NATO countries would like to confront the Russians directly. They would like proxy to go and confront the Russians, but they probably would not directly confront the Russians. I feel so. So that way, I feel that the chances of NATO getting involved militarily is very slim, very remote.
So you don't find direct confrontation between the NATO or United States with Russia. So according to the statement of General Shafat from his long experience in military service, I'm just curious to ask Sir Norman one question. How effective are diplomatic efforts and peace negotiations? Is there a chance for real lasting peace, or is the war destined to continue for years after years? Sir Norman.
Thank you for the question. But as the general mentioned, it's the will of the people what it comes down to. People will historically, you'll fight. You can defeat countries, but the will of the people will determine. What that means is basically you may capture, you may defeat, you may claim the country, but the will of the people will determine the fight. War goes on deeper than just I surrender. You have the underground, you have background stuff. So if the people want to continue to fight, even though they may Russia may claim the land, or they may Ukraine may concede the land, but the will of the people will determine how far the war goes on. And there's other things that can happen, but if the people in these certain regions want to be part of Russia, eventually that will happen. I feel that Russia has an indication of exactly what the people in the region want, the majority of the people want. And the people who do not want this type of environment will leave. Basically, they will go to other places. They will leave the country. They will move to the other region. But in the end of the day, the will of the people who occupy that land will determine whether or not Russia stays there or Russia goes. So, so we have to really the question again, what is the will, what do the people of this particular region want? They will decide, not the presidents of the countries, not the military, it's the people.
All right, here is a question from one of our very regular audience, very regular viewers. She is indirectly participating in our profession. Her name is Shoma Ghosh Monica. By profession, she is a
Good
lawyer.
morning.
She asked a question to Norman Flood Barnes. Question is, what kind of role should Donald Trump, representing the United States, play in bringing the Russia-Ukraine war to a permanent end? Good question. She also said, and as of two of the five powerful nations in the United Nations Security Council, what roles should Russia and the United States take in establishing global peace? She added, do you think the horrors of this war will contribute to reduce the threat of nuclear power, and will it further intensify it? This question for Norman sir. Thank you. I really appreciate Monica Ghosh, Monica, for your question. I'm passing this question to Washington.
Yes, thank you for the question. It's a very the response and the answer to that is not yes or no. Uh, First part, the possibility of nuclear engagement, I think, is very low, very minimum, because of the basic repercussions. The nuclear option is basically the final option. There's no win. No one wins from that situation. So that is something that is being held. That is basically I guess I'm going down, and this is the last thing I can do. So instead of me going down myself, I'm going to go with you. So we're dipping two, we are dealing with two graves. Uh, the president of the United States, the Trump administration, and administrations of Russia has a responsibility to stabilize the conditions of the world, what's going on, particularly with these global conflicts. The governments need to understand that war is not the answer. It is a response to a more deeper problem. The problem is that we have communication problems, we have greed problems, we have people who have agendas that may not agree, they clash with each other, but at the end of the day, we have to learn to coexist. There has to be a point where we have to decide that, okay, we don't like each other, we don't like what we're doing, but we understand that I need to have a balance and have stable situation where we both can coexist. So these conflicts are continue going to happen, and there will be additional copycat conflicts as a result of these two superpowers are not agreeing to terms on how they're going to live and deal with things. We got issues with energy control. We have technology issues. We have basically, how do we coexist? How do we get along? Until we figure out exactly how we're going to come to terms, these military responses will keep popping up, and other countries will see a similar point that the superpowers can't get along. Why should we? We need to get our points in. We need to get things going on and work this thing out. So we have a lot of work to do. The world, we have a lot of work to do to understand that no one wins in war. No one. You may win the battle, but you have the repercussions of rebuilding, putting things together, and basically getting your will. Getting your will is not going to be a response if the people in these areas are not taken care of. Because if you defeat someone, you are responsible for them. You have to take care of them. So, do we want to spend the money and the resources basically to control a area that we have, knowing that the people and the resources there are going to cause us more pain and suffering?
Very structured response from Sir Norman Flatburn. Sir, I want to conclude these topics here because we have more issues to discuss after the break. But as a general, you have the experience to predict on the war's future. Sir, may I ask you, what are the global economic and security risks if the war further escalates? It will definitely escalate, especially energy shortage, refugee flows in Europe, and broader conflict spill over, or world will sharply turn into from unipolar to multipolar.
Thank you very much. It's a very complex question. There are many issues. Your last part is whether it is going to remain unipolar or multipolar. I'll first tackle this one, then I'll go for the other part. Now, first of all, let me tell you, we are heading towards multipolar world. It's for sure, because with the situation, the prevalent geopolitical situation around the world, we are going to see groups coming up, and that will be the probably for quite some time to come. That will be the probably sort of world politics will be determined by this sort of polarity, because this is no more unipolar, because there are countries who can defy USA now, and it is happening. So that is the first part. Secondly, coming to the economic condition, I'll ask a counter question. How many strategists or political leaders ever consider the economic issue while thinking about this war, etc.? They don't bother, because they have other agenda. If Mr. Trump would have been really a president who thought of his country people, then he wouldn't have gone for this, whatever he is doing about the tariff. At the end of the day, the burden is coming on the people of the United States and on the United States economy. $12 billion is just the beginning. How much are you going to save or earn by imposing those tariffs?
Sir, do you want to call this $12 billion as a stimulation package to save the farmers?
It's not stimulation. It is probably trying to keep them out shut. All right, take this 12 billion.
So it's a political move.
It's a political move, because the loss that the US farmers will incur, it will be difficult for the US government to really compensate, because other countries are adjusting themselves. And for US, you see, when you are driving a big car, big transport or big vehicle, you need a lot of space, time to maneuver. But for smaller transport, smaller car, you can probably pass through. So same is the case here. For US economy to maneuver, it takes time, it will take a lot of efforts, because the way it has been going down, it will be very difficult for it to make a quick recovery. For that you need very, what I should say, genuine economists who think of the people of USA. But we are not thinking, because after all, at the end of the day, Mr. Trump as his associates are thinking about their business. The Gaza operation is part of a business, because they are going to get in there for earning some profit.
All right, sir. Through different social media platforms, the questions are coming. One relevant, related, and good question. I want to pick for Sir Norman because they have indicated to us this question. Norman, world has seen the 43 days federal shutdown in United States. World has seen couple of failures of US economic situation. World has seen division among the American politicians. The audience is asking to Norman, sir, can you please describe the real economic situations in United States? Is it affordable right this moment in America?
Thank you for this very intense question. Uh, my initial response, I can tell you from personal experience, it's becoming very difficult day by day to live in the United States. Let's talk about the $12 billion giving to the farmers. That is basically, the people look at that is basically a concession that we know that we have messed up the government. The farmers, the issue is 12 million, 100 billion, $1 trillion is not going to put the genie back in the bottle. It's the process has already started. So once you start this on the scale, the farming industry of the United States is basically decimated. Families have losing generational tradition. They are basically several farmers are basically taken to the point where they're taking their own lives. That's how that desperate the situation. Uh, no amount of money is going to be able to put back. Once you have lost, it's no rejuvenation of the market because there's now become a situation, the need. There's no longer a need for farming in the United States based on the current administration. They can't put the genie back in the bottle because it's already done. Uh, they're losing lands, they're losing families, they're losing the will, the ability to do this. So that industry is basically in the United States is basically gone. The daily people are now seeing going to the store, the price of everything is going up, triple, twice. The economy is not producing enough jobs in time for people to recover. Medical issues, we still have that issue that shut down the government. That has not been resolved about health care. The current administration is struggling right now to find a solution for that. They delayed it, a lot of pause, a lot of delays, a lot of what we call ceasefires. But the current and the initial, the core problem has not been addressed. So the administration right now is struggling to figure out how are we going to deal with this economic thing. We hopefully the tariffs is going to, as put out by the administration, is going to save and help the economy. They're talking about people on Social Security that they may not have to pay taxes because the tariffs will bring enough money. The point is when? When is this tariffs going to kick in? When are the people going to see it? People at the top is basically understanding they understand they have a cushion, they have money, they have resources, they can wait this thing out. But the average person day to day are struggling. They are losing every single day, struggle. More families are losing their homes. Jobs are going up. Healthcare is a big one. People are dying, and people will continue to fall under this because they just cannot afford it. The price is going up. In an economy of profit. The profit makers are making money, but the people are losing. They are not happy. We have a midterm coming up, and you're going to see major response to what I'm saying. The people are not happy and they are not seeing a profitable future for them. They don't see a place. All they see is a lose-lose situation where a few gain, make money, make deals, make profits in terms of global activities, and high ranking profits for a small few. Most of these people we talking who make these profits, they don't have to worry about second homes. They have second homes in other parts of the world. So if this thing goes backwards and upside down, they have options. The majority of people do not. They have to live, breathe, and endure. Just like a warlike situation, the people suffer from these type of situations.
All right, sir. I was listening very attentively and I was planning to ask a question to my distinguished panelist here in the studio. World's most powerful economy, world's most mightiest country, world's most militarily strongest country are facing such situation. You are hearing Norman Flat Barnes, the situation in America, even healthcare situation is very disappointing. I just want to add one thing, that Russia is facing huge economic crisis. You know the situation in Canada, what is going on, situation in UK, European Union. Only one country never says that yes, we have faced economic slowdown, but we are still doing good, that is China. Do you think, sir, after the collapse of American economy, American mightiness, American legacy, China will lead the world?
There is no doubt about it. It's nature, because decline of USA is going to take place, and someone has to come up, and it's going to be China, because Russia had a chance, but Russia has faltered very badly. Because even just think about it, China did not begin in one day. China did not bother about the rest of the world. China first of all sorted out their own home. They have worked out a plan. They did not disturb anybody. In last 50 years or 70 years, China has not sent troops anywhere.
They focused on development.
They focus on development, on education, on healthcare, on economy, on technology. So they have started, they planned on it, and they have gone along with the plan. On the other hand, the Western world, they got immersed in their sort of thought that they are unbeatable. Nobody is going to come near them. Not that I think I commented earlier in one of the program, because they are not taking lessons from the history. It was they should have known that these things will going to happen. So they should have taken precaution, could have taken precaution, but they did not. They thought they can survive through. So I do not know. Is there any other alternative? I do not find any alternative other than China.
Sir, if you allow me, Norman, Sir Norman has a time limitation, because in Washington time, this is Eastern Standard Time, it is 4:30 a.m. in the morning, so I need to let him go to sleep. Sir, one question, do you think that China's development, the booms in China, is an advantage of very organized, structured, disciplined communism? Is it the reason, or the policy they have taken and they focused on their job, not to disturb others, according to General Shafat?
Thank you for the question. You look at the situation, it's a very strategic approach. You notice when they had the big parade, the term I will keep using was, we want to be the alternative. That was done by design, basically looking at the whole geopolitical situation. It was forecast that basically the might is right situation, the response, the throwing money at things, the technology, all of this stuff seen by done by the Western world. It seems like a fly by night, basically a quick fix, a immediate response to everything is basically comfort and profit, comfort and profit. Basically, let's make a deal. Let's do transactional situation. However, China's approach has been more one of We are the alternatives. We are more on development of the infrastructures. We're going to be around and provide more at less cost, make it affordable. And the situation right now, I can tell you in the United States, if you go to a place and you see an item made in China, an item made in the United States, right now with the current economy, guess who's going to make the sale?
All right, sir.
Guess who's going to get it?
All right, sir. I'm very fascinating. You are putting always very fascinating and authentic, structured, and very what should I say? I should say that very organized information on the show, which made the show very rich and content become popular to the viewers. Mr. Norman, I know time is running out, but we want to get you back. Our production team will connect you again in a couple of minutes, sir. Let me come back to General Shafat. Sir, I just want to draw your attention on Gaza Strip, Hamas-Israel war, aftermath and reconstruction challenges. One question I just want to give. Before I give the question, so there is a news. The war has left massive destruction. According to a recent assessment, more than 123,000 buildings in Gaza have been destroyed and 75% damaged. 75,000 damaged, about 81% of all structures. The rubble amounts to roughly 68 million tons and 75,000 people killed, more than 8 lakhs people displaced. Don't you think it was a planned attack?
We are back to square one because it was planned, because Israel has a plan, because they want to have a greater Israel, and Palestinians were their first obstacle. So and with them they had the complete US support. Without US support they could not have done it. And it was bad luck, it was unfortunate that the Arab nations kept quiet. They had the leverage, they could have played their card. If they played it properly, probably they could have saved the situation. They did not. They are more worried about their own palace and own throne rather than thinking about the others. Now, coming to the destruction that has taken place, it is enormous. We do not know how to solve the problem, and I do not find anybody has given any plan so far. They are talking, but in reality nothing has been placed on the table that this is how they will move. I don't think any fixed amount has been allotted for Gaza as yet. They are talking that they will give money, but nothing has been done. There was before, during the probably few months back, there was a plan by the GCC countries and Egypt that they will give about $20 billion. Probably that could be the beginning. But again, the question is, who is going to invest work there? Who is going to control that money? Who is going to will Hamas or the Palestinians be allowed to plan their reconstruction, or will it be done under the US control or Israeli control? There are many questions are there.
Yes, sir.
They haven't been solved.
There is no specific plan. We have seen that 28 points has given for Russia-Ukraine negotiation, then it has come to 19 points, now it is at 20 points, which is called pen and papers negotiation. And somebody will sign here, will agree, there will be joint press conference, but in the Israel and Gaza issue, we have seen nothing. President Donald Trump says they stop the war. Netanyahu stopped the war only for 24 hours. Then after 24 hours, he again killed Hamas leader. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have to go for a short commercial break. After the break, we will discuss details on few international events.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিংয়ের জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900।
Sir, you raised one very good question. Who gonna be the authority of this work? I just want to know from you, sir, with 68 million tons of rubble and 81% of the buildings destroyed, who should bear the responsibility for reconstruction? Local authority or international donors or occupying powers? You understand what I mean, Israel or United States, because Israel has gone under the direct supervision of United States.
Who paid for the reconstruction of Europe? Take example from Second World War.
Big question, sir.
So they should come out with the idea. I feel that a big chunk should be shared by the Arab countries. They have plenty of money. They should, $100 billion is nothing for them. MBS is talking of $1 trillion business with the USA. So give $1 trillion to Gaza, all problems will solve. But that will not happen, because I find that the Arab states are not really much keen to solve the problem, for whatever reason it may be.
I understand you are very frustrated and disappointed, demoralized and upset on this issue.
I'm talking of reality.
Because of experience you have gathered from your service life and education, you became an academician as well. Sir, what immediate humanitarian priorities should come first? Shelter, redemining, or psychological support, or long-term urban development and infrastructure? Because we heard often from the world leaders that they are focused on long-term urban redevelopment and infrastructure. But these three things, economic development, shelter building, redemining, because a lot of grenades and minings are there, and also psychological support, because the Hamas people or the people in Gaza Strip became very, very hopeless.
You see, I feel that probably, I don't know who is going to do it, but you need to work out a comprehensive plan. Both things has to go simultaneously.
Complete package.
Complete package. Firstly, you have to give the humanitarian task. You have to give them shelter, you have to give them food. First is food, shelter, clothing. Along with it, medicine. Once that is one side. At least keep these people alive, they keep them in healthy condition so that they can work. Now comes the question of rebuilding the area. That they should think, and they could have they have experts. The Arabs have people, the Palestinians have people, the Palestinian diaspora around the world, they can come, and if they are allowed to come, and they have the capability to rebuild it, provided they have the money with them, and provided Israel and USA does not disturb them. It can be done. But then, do USA and Israel want Gaza to be rebuilt? If they want, it can be done. Because I don't think if the USA and Israel, they say, okay, all right, you go and rebuild it, the Arab countries will, I think they will participate in it.
Sir, one big question is still arising. Can reconstruction and peace building efforts succeed while political control and disarmament remain disputed between factions, especially local versus external powers? Because Israel is still claiming that Hamas should not be in political movement, Hamas should not be a political party, Hamas should be disarmament.
Again, the question is, as I asked in case of Ukraine in portion, that what do the people want? If they talk of democracy, they talk of self-determination, the Western world. So if you talk of democracy, if you talk of self-determination, then let Hamas work. If Israel does not disturb them, will Hamas go and kill the Israelis or attack them? Because it necessitated them to pick up the arms. It was not the Palestinians who picked up arms first. It was the Israelis who picked up arms first. They started in 48. Palestinians did not start. Palestinians were in the defensive. They are still in the defensive. So if they allow, the question is, if USA and Israel and the Western world they decide, they say, all right, you rebuild yourself, that can be done.
But recently, one very famous Israeli professor who teaches conflicts and resolution issues in Jerusalem University, he says it is not unlikely that 7 October attack by few Hamas members were organized, financed and militarized by Israeli intelligence group to start the war or to destroy the Gaza Strip. He said, and he became very controversial figure in Israel itself among his population, but he says it is his gaze and he has some proofs that that group has been financed by Israeli military. So how are you going to explain that fraction and conflict between the Arab tribals, mistrust among the Arabs? It's an old history.
So let me go back a little bit. I'll go back to 9/11, the Twin Tower bombing. That building which was demolished, there were many Jews who used to work there. Not a single Jew killed.
Yes.
How come? Is it a coincidence? One. So who pioneered it? Who did it? I'll not. Now coming to this, the Israeli professor's assessment of his, I fully support him. This is the normal pattern. It is not here. If you look into many wars or many such incidences that has taken place, these have been initiated, financed by various intelligence organizations.
So collaboration is there.
Collaboration is there.
Thank you very much, sir.
Probably, I think I raised it, pointed out in one of the previous discussion also, that Hamas was created by the Israelis to counter Al-Fatah. They became Frankenstein, so now they wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah, very clear.
So Taliban is another example. They became the headache. ISIS is another example. And when you dig grave or you dig a ditch for your enemy, you may land yourself there.
All right, sir. We are happy to get back Sir Norman Flood Burness from Washington, D.C. You are hearing from a general who is very experienced on this issue. He says Taliban is created by Americans. IS is created by Americans. Laden is created by Americans. And Hamas is patroned and supported, financed by also Westerns, backed by Jewish or Israeli intelligence. As an American, as a former ambassador, as an diplomat, do you really agree the backdoor policies taken by the Westerns to make this world unstoppable and unstable? Sir Norman.
I cannot disagree. I cannot disagree. You have to understand the whole dynamics, the narrative. The narrative is to keep constant conflict, keep instability, to keep things unstable, to create a need. We produce weapons, the Western world, particularly the United States. That's a big money making industry. So as long as there's a conflict somewhere, there's a mean to destabilize it, keep things in balance and check. You will have this situation. Uh, yes, we understand that these organizations has roots in the Western world. They've been influenced by the Western world. They some situations been trained and given instructions by the Western world to do this. So when these flare-ups pops up, it is a result of these organizations is looking at the whole dynamics. The original narrative doesn't meet their needs, so they decide to come independent. That's when the response is. That's when we get into conflicts. Is when they outgrow their nesting situation. They outgrow it. They see the light and they see an opportunity to expand and grow. That's when we have these conflicts appears to come up. There's always a root cause, there's always a reason, and there's always a someone who support them. The idea of Western world supporting this, particularly the United States, is something we have to look at and not discount. To understand the real motive. The motives are to keep things unstable where there's a need.
There is a lot of complaint against the Western powers or Western allies that they also patron the proxies, as Iran also has the same claim, but as a superpower like China, China never faced such complaint. I want to do this question to General Shafat because he has long experience on this military business. Why people are not putting their finger to China as one of the strongest economy and military, that they are not patronizing any proxies?
You see, again, time will say, because China has not taken over the role of USA as yet. China is still the number 2 or number 3. China is allowing USA to dictate terms, because China is not going for confrontation. Unlike the Cold War period, when the Soviet Union and USA was both competing with each other for gaining confidence from the other small stress. But China is not doing that. China is quietly building based on that economic power. So China has different story. China, I do not know what Chinese will do in future if USA really falls and if US power declines to that level that they cannot intervene in other places, then question will come, how will China react? As yet we do not know. But historically, if you see, China has not in the past, they have intervened outside.
Yeah, they did not invade any country.
Even historically they have not.
Yes.
In their 3,000 or 4,000 years history, they have not. Except for a short period that they did in Japan and South Korea. Other than that, they have not. But in case of USA, the moment they came out of Monroe Doctrine, they have been all through like that.
Right, sir. We are really running out of time, but I have one more very short question to Norman. Norman, do you think America has something there to learn from China? China's political move, China's military move, China's economic moves. Would you please short in 1 minute, sir?
Yes, we always lessons need to be learned. And look at China's been around on how many ages? Knowledge is there. What is now is a lesson. The United States and other countries We're still a 250-year-old country. We're still a baby in terms of the world. So it's always a lesson to be learned. We do not know the answers because we don't know who we are yet. We're still developing, evolving. So yes, these lessons need to be learned. Yes, they are being looked at. Right now, we're in a reactive mode because we really don't know what we're doing. But China has adopted a program based on the world events, what's happening, what is happening, give and take. Instead of applying the pressure, they give and take and they respond and they address what's really going on. They're looking at the core issues. We need to get back to what are the core issues and values and make a response based on that, not what we projected, what we want.
Thank you so much, sir. I wish you a very good day, but it is very cold in Washington, so be cautious during going out and enjoy a hot coffee today, sir. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you too, sir, for putting so much of high level perspective and information, historical background, which helps me to understand the war facts, negotiation facts. I'm so grateful to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll again see you tomorrow.